Hare Krishna. After the grand Golden Jubilee celebration of the sannyasa acceptance of Srimad Gour Govinda Swami Maharaj at Jantaribol, the spiritual fervor overflowed to Jaganathpur, the sacred birthplace of Srila Gurudev. On the 22nd of March, the narrow village roads of Jagannathpur, located in the eastern part of Odisha, witnessed an extraordinary influx of devotees. Thousands of devotees flocked to this holy land, eager to immerse themselves in the divine memories and transcendental pastimes of Srila Gurudev. His Holiness Hare Swami Maharaj extended heartfelt invitations to all the colleagues and students of Srila Gurudev from his Purva Ashram, when Gurudev served as a dedicated school teacher. Additionally, all the relatives and members of Srila Gurudev's illustrious lineage were invited to grace this auspicious occasion. After warmly welcoming the gathering, His Holiness Hare Swami Maharaj invited His Grace Keshav Prabhu, an elderly disciple who was privileged to be a student of Srila Gurudev, to share his cherished experiences. His Grace Keshav Prabhu, who is now nearly 85 years old, stood before the assembly. Though age had clouded many of his memories, the time he spent with Srila Gurudev remained etched in his heart, never fading for even a moment. With great emotion and clarity, he recounted a sweet pastime that stirred the hearts of all present, inspiring unwavering faith in the supreme potency of the spiritual master. His Grace Keshav Prabhu said, Srila Gurudev was teaching at the primary school in Jagannathpur when I was his student. Both Subhas, who later became His Holiness Swambhu Swami Maharaj, and I were his favorite students. We used to call him Sir, and he loved us dearly, ensuring that we excelled in our studies. However, if we became negligent or inattentive, he would not hesitate to discipline us with great affection and concern. Even in those early days, it was evident to us that Sir was destined to become a great saint. He was always absorbed in solitary study and meditation, never engaging in worldly conversations or mingling with mundane associations. Every day he would visit the Sapneshwara temple to recite the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, gathering villagers to listen to these divine scriptures. Even during school holidays, he would organize Bhagavad Katha in the school premises and inspire the local people with spiritual knowledge. His every activity was transcendental. He had descended to this world to teach us the path of Bhakti. What more can I speak about such an exalted soul? Words fall short in describing his glories, but I will share one unforgettable incident that remains deeply engraved in my heart. Once Srila Gurudev instructed me to attend the opening celebration festival of the Krishna Balaram temple in Bhubaneswar. Obediently, I, along with my wife, travelled by bus from our village Jagannathpur to attend the grand event in February 1991. When we finally reached the temple, both of us were struck with wonder, beholding the massive gathering of thousands of devotees who had assembled for the grand celebration. The sight was overwhelming, and a thought crossed our minds. This is so huge, we might get lost here. Somehow or other, we managed to take darshan of the deities, but we were not very hopeful of receiving prasadam due to the enormous crowd. My wife, sensing the situation, suggested, "Let's go somewhere and eat. It's impossible for us to get prasadam here." I replied, "You are right, but how can we leave this place without honoring Krishna's prasadam? My mind is not ready to accept that. However, we cannot remain on an empty stomach either. Let's search for a place to take our lunch." Just as we were about to leave, Braja Prabhu, who belonged to our village, spotted us. With great joy he exclaimed, "Oh, it's so nice that you have come. Wait here, I will bring prasadam for you." It's impossible for you to go through the long queue and take prasadam." Within a short while, Braja Prabhu returned with 2 plates of sanctified prasadam and handed them to us. Sitting near the wall, we honored the prasadam to our heart's content, feeling fully satisfied. By the time we finished, it was already late. We realized that if we didn't leave immediately, we would miss the last bus to our village. But as we were about to depart, a thought pierced my heart. We have had darshan of Lord Krishna. We have taken his prasadam, but we have not yet taken darshan of our beloved Srila Gurudev. How can we live without his darshan? Determined, we approached Srila Gurudev's bhajan kutir. The door was closed, and many devotees were gathered outside. Sitting near the door was a devotee who served as Srila Gurudev's personal servant. I approached him and humbly introduced myself. "I am Kesav Charan Mahanti from Jagannathpur, and I was a student of Srila Gurudev. He invited me to attend this festival, and we came. We have taken prasadam but have not had his darshan yet. Please, if you can help us, we just want to have his darshan before returning to our village. We came by bus and the last bus leaves from Cuttack at 4 p.m. However, to my dismay, the devotees flatly denied my request. "No, you cannot have darshan of Gurudev now," he said firmly. "Why?" I asked. Pointing toward the wall of the bhajan kutir, he said, "Look, the darshan timings are clearly mentioned, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Only during this time is darshan allowed. We have strict instructions not to allow anyone for darshan outside these hours." My heart sank. I tried to plead with him, explaining our situation. As this conversation was going on, Srila Gurudev, who was inside his kutir, heard our voices. He immediately called his servant and inquired, "With whom are you talking?" The devotee replied, "One Kesav Charan Mahanti, who introduced himself as your student, has come for the festival and is requesting your darshan. Leave him, let him come inside," Srila Gurudev instructed. Upon receiving this divine instruction, the devotee relented but gave us a strict warning. "You may go inside, but do not touch Srila Gurudev's feet. Just pay your obeisances from a distance." I assured him, "We will not touch his lotus feet. Gurudev knows everything. He is always watching over us. But we have not seen him yet, and our hearts yearn for his darshan only. We will not touch his feet. Please be assured." As we entered the kutir, Srila Gurudev greeted us with his ever blissful smile and said, "Kesav, you have come." I humbly replied, "You had sent us word to come, Gurudev, so we came." Both my wife and I offered our prostrated dandavats to Srila Gurudev, carefully remembering the instructions not to touch his feet. But Srila Gurudev, being all-knowing and merciful, could perceive the deep longing in my heart. He knew how much I yearned to touch his lotus feet. Just as I was trying to rise after offering my obeisances, Srila Gurudev stretched his legs and his lotus feet lovingly touched my head. What can I say about the mercy of Srila Gurudev? He fulfills the innermost desires of his devotees even without them expressing it. At that moment, my eyes welled up with tears. I wanted to speak, but words failed me. I was overwhelmed with divine ecstasy as the touch of his lotus feet electrified my soul. After blessing us, Srila Gurudev asked, "How did you came?" I replied, "By bus, Gurudev." He asked again with concern, "It's already late. Will you be able to catch the bus back to your village?" I answered, "Gurudev, it's almost 3:30 now. The last bus leaves from Cuttack around 4 p.m. Srila Gurudev reassured us with a smile, "Don't worry, you will get that bus." Before we left, Srila Gurudev lovingly instructed my wife, "Kesav is my favorite student. In the journey of life, always serve him and never disturb him." He gave us several more instructions on living a devotional life dedicated to Lord Krishna. which we etched in our hearts forever. After blessing us with divine darshan and giving us precious instruction, Srila Gurudev said with urgency, Keshav, you have to be quick. Rush to the gate. You will definitely get that bus from Cuttack. Hurry. Without wasting a moment, we quickly paid our obeisances and came out of the room. Filled with anxiety, we immediately ran towards the temple gate, carrying the priceless memories of our brief yet spiritually enriching encounter with Srila Gurudev. It takes at least 1 hour to travel from Bhubaneswar to Cuttack. Even if we had miraculously managed to get a bus immediately, it would have been 4:30 p.m. by the time we reached Cuttack. Since the last bus to our village was supposed to leave at 4 p.m., we had no logical hope of catching it. But at that moment, we had no time to think or calculate. Our minds were solely focused on reaching Cuttack, with full faith that Srila Gurudev's words, "Don't worry, you will get the bus," would somehow manifest into reality. As we reached the temple gate, a car suddenly stopped right in front of us. The driver rolled down the window and asked, "Where are you going?" I replied with urgency, "We need to go to Cuttack." He smiled and said, "I am heading toward Chandikhol. I can drop you at Cuttack on the way if you want." Without a second thought, we entered the car. As we traveled, I felt compelled to speak about Srila Gurudev and his divine glories to the driver. I shared how we had come for the temple festival and were blessed with Srila Gurudev's darshan. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, and before we realized it, we had already reached Cuttack. When we reached Cuttack, I asked the driver, "How much do I owe you?" With a warm smile, he replied, "No need to pay anything. You went to the temple to take darshan of your Gurudev. What you are doing is a great act of devotion. I am just doing a small pious act by helping you." I insisted, "Please, at least take something for the fuel cost." But he humbly said, "I am not just a driver. I am the owner of this car. Don't worry. I was returning empty, and helping you was an opportunity for me to serve." Saying this, he drove away, leaving us both stunned and speechless. When I looked at my wristwatch, it was already 5 p.m. My heart sank, knowing that the last bus had already left an hour ago. My mind started racing. What do we do now? Just at that moment, from a distance, I saw a bus approaching. As it came closer, to our astonishment, we realized that it was the same last bus to Ersama, the very bus that went through our village Jagannathpur. My wife and I looked at each other, our eyes filled with wonder and disbelief. How is this possible? The bus was supposed to leave at 4 p.m., but here it was, arriving at 5 p.m. We quickly boarded the bus, still in awe of this miracle. Curious, I asked the conductor why the bus was so late that day. He replied, "Today, just as we were about to leave Cuttack, one of the tires got punctured. We had to get it repaired, which caused a delay of 1 hour." Throughout the journey, my mind kept reflecting on Srila Gurudev's words, "Don't worry, you will get the bus." Little did I realize at that moment that when Srila Gurudev spoke those words, he was simultaneously orchestrating the events that followed, immediately getting a car which took us to Cuttack and delaying of the bus by an hour due to tire puncture. Indeed, this is nothing but the divine play of Srila Gurudev. Who was that man who appeared at the exact moment we reached the gate and dropped us at Cuttack, who never took money from us, saying, "You have came for Guru Darshan, how can I take money from you?" To this day we wonder who was that man. As Keshav Prabhu narrated this extraordinary experience, his voice trembled and tears streamed down his face. Overcome with emotion, he could no longer speak. After a few moments, he said with great humility, "May Srila Gurudev's mercy befall upon all of you." Jai Srila Gurudev. The pastimes of Srila Gurudev are not mere stories, they are transcendental leelas that instill faith, inspire devotion, and guide sincere seekers on the path of bhakti. In our last video, we had presented a beautiful pastimes of Srila Gurudev which we heard at the Jantaribol celebration. There are many more such nectarian pastimes of Srila Gurudev which were still unknown to the devotees and are now coming to light through this Golden Jubilee celebration. The nectarian pastimes of Srila Gurudev from his students, colleagues, and family members continue to surface in the Jaganathpur Golden Jubilee celebration. We eagerly await to hear and document many more such divine pastimes that illuminate the unmatched glories of Srila Govinda Swami Maharaj, as they are full of teachings for the devotees and the humanity at large. We feel eternally grateful to His Grace Keshav Prabhu for opening his heart and sharing this miraculous event with all of us. Hare Krishna.